Hi guys, just wanted to give you a early alpha sort of walkthrough of the dashboard I'm making for STS. So here's the settings. I'll just briefly go through those and show you what they do at the moment. So at the moment, if you defaults with no pairs, and it will just automatically open up the dashboard with all 28. If you have a particular set of pairs that you want, JPY or whatever it is, you just put them in as a comma separated list, but mostly I'd suggest just leave it blank and you get all 28. For FX power, for the time frames, use 8 hours, 3 hours, 3 days, 1 week, whatever it is. For those 3 time frames, you can set them here. They're all the same as the defaults for FX power. If you only wanted to use one, you could have set them all to the same, but I use 1 day, 3 day, 1 week. Don't worry about the 15 minutes. This is the FX power level. Obviously the values of all of them need to be above that in case, in this case, AUD above 6 or below 3. I think the suggestion is to use 8 and 1, but just for the purposes of the demonstration, I'll use 6 and 3. FX power settings, that needs to be above 3, so you can adjust that there. This is the time frames for the trends that you want to use. So got that defaulting to M30, H1, H4 and daily. You can edit that comma separated list to whatever you want if you don't want daily in there. This is the default trend power intensity level. So in this case it requires all to be above 80. If you wanted, you can specify separate ones for each of the item time frames that you got there. So you wanted to use 30, say 20 for M30, a really weak trend, and then 50 for the H1 and 70 for the H4. You could just do that. Again, what I suggest, just leave that at 80, have a play. These are turning off the basically the rules. You probably wouldn't want to turn off trend as a rule, but you might want to turn off lighthouse, for example, and use your own determination on that. So this one, when you got the list of pairs, which will show up there in a second, 28 of them, this is what action happens when you click on them, do nothing. Change this particular chart, open up a new chart with the default template. This last one is just for me, change slave. I've also got notes fields. I recommend you just keep that one on open new chart. Show notes fields. You can enter notes. This is just whether they appear or not, and you can turn them on and off on the dash. Down here I've got a couple of options that are just for me, around sending growl instant messages and some debug stuff. Here you can turn on your email alerts, things like that, to avoid getting lots of re-signals where it goes on, goes off, goes on, goes off. I've put in a limit here, so it won't, if it sends you one, it'll wait this many minutes before it sends you the next change of that, because sometimes when you got these crosses, they can cross over multiple times. I've tried to limit that, but at least you can use this if the alerts get annoying. Let's have a look at the dashboard. It takes a second or two to load because it's got to go through all 28 pairs. Then you can see here all your pairs. They'll light up with green or red depending on what the signal is. This is the real important column, the signal column, and that's based on we've got a green trend. What have we got in this currency? We got Aussie yen. So where's Aussie yen? Doesn't actually have it because it's not satisfying all the criteria. It doesn't have the right delta. Delta of all of the pairs will be not delta in foreground. One of them will be below 3. Delta in foreground, there we go. too low. But you can, as I say, you can turn these things off with these buttons at the top if you don't particularly want to use delta in your signaling, or if you don't like lighthouse, you can turn it off here as well. The base and quote is indicating, and let's just turn off those deltas because they get a bit annoying. Right. Those are, in this case, looking at which currency is above or below the threshold. So in this case, we can see Aussie dollar is well up above the 6 power limit. So you'll see all the Aussies are lit up. So that gives you, which ones are above your thresholds. When you set that to 8, you'll get a lot less of those. Right, so if you want to open up a new one, say you want to trade Euro Aussie, you just click on that, and brings up that in a separate window. And yes, the last thing, you can click these and drag them around. I've done the same thing with this. You can drag it around wherever suits you on the screen. I actually recommend that you for this don't have it on an existing chart, because it slows it down a bit and it's kind of pointless. You can just open up a new one. I'll show you what I mean. If you have that set to change this chart, just means every time you do it, it's got to reload. So 1, 2, 3, yeah, it's about a 4-second delay or something to load up this chart. But that's sort of a walkthrough. Price, and that'll change red or green depending on whether the price is currently above the previous couple of prices. Notes, notes are saved to a file, so you can put in, just wait for Jackson Hole to finish and remind yourself of things that are coming up, and what pairs to trade or not trade. And I think that's probably about all of the elements for this. So I'll release that out for people to have a play with, but I really want people who have got some experience with MQL, with coding, so they understand what's possible and what's not possible, and also deep experience with the actual FX tools, Stein's tools and system, so that we can try and make this dashboard as good as possible for people. It's alpha at the moment, obviously, but once it's sort of proven to be working, we'll chuck the code out and see what everyone can do with it. Alright, that's it for now. Apologies, it's taken a little while to get this out. This work's been insane. Alright, looking forward to seeing what people can do with it. Cheers, guys.